Hey guys, this is Locke. This is my in-depth guide to that time I got reincarnated as a slime. That sounds like a weird name. I think this game is actually based on an anime because it sounds like it has like a lot of cutscenes that I think were directly taken from an anime. So the reason I'm doing this guide is actually because I find that there's a ton of mechanics in this game, and unless you understand all the mechanics, you might have some trouble progressing. So I'm going to explain as much as I can about the different mechanics that I found. And the first thing I'm going to start is actually the battle. So I'm going to talk about the different things you can do in battle and how it all connects. So once we get to the battle screen, there are three different types of souls you can have. So I'm going to skip all of this and go right to the battle so I can show it to you. So I'm going to skip this as well. And at the bottom, there are three different types that I mentioned. So there is the blue, the green, and the brown. The blue one is called a skill of protection, or soul of protection, I mean. The green one is called soul of skills, and the brown one is called soul of secrets. So all of them affect different things. The blue one, whenever you cast the blue one, it actually fills up this gauge over here. Once it gets full, you can cast the skill that you have selected. The green one fills up the skill gauge here, and you can use the skills. These are the costs for the skills. You start with 30. Whenever you use anything, the skill actually increases. As you can see, it goes from 30 to 34, but if you cast a green one, it increases even more. The brown one increases the bar underneath each of the characters. You can see here, when I'm selecting this character in the middle, his bar is increasing by that much. If I use a different skill, like anything he uses actually increases the bar, but the brown one increases it more than the other ones. So those are how all these three things are affecting what they do for the characters. So for example, if I really want to use one of the skills, I would really like to use as many of the brown bars as possible. So if I really want to use this guy's skill, for example, I would try to do this, right? Um, the thing that you want to focus on the most is actually getting as many turns as possible, or as many actions as possible in a single turn. So to do that, for example, this is probably the best thing that I can do this turn because I would use four actions. You can think of each action as 100% attack. So sure, if you do this, maybe you can increase his bar even more, but you're only basically getting like a 300% attack. So you're getting, three attacks in, whereas something like this, you increase four attacks, which I think is even better. And if you look at the thing that's coming up next, what you see over here in this corner on the very right side is the next action that's coming up, and that is a brown bar for this character. So one thing I can do is this and keep that in for a for a guaranteed third action that I can take next turn. But I would rather do as many actions this turn as I can, simply because I know that I will get four hits this turn, and next turn maybe I will get another four because I will have other things that I can use. Anyway, that's all I want to explain about the actions per turn. You get more actions. Like, you'll have to get the hang of it to really understand how to do this. But this is how all of this is affected. This is how all three colors. What they do. I've explained their effects. The second thing I'm going to talk about is switching characters. You can switch characters freely. The only thing you have to do is once you switch a character into your rear guard, you cannot switch that character back the same turn. So for example, I'm going to switch this character with this one, and I can still switch this one again, although there's no real point, but I can't put the one that I just put into the rear guard back into the vanguard. So this is the character I just took out. I can switch that with the thunder character at the bottom, or I can switch another character like this. See, and as I switch the characters, their portraits on the bottom also change to the corresponding character. So usually what I do is, even if I have a character that's weak to a certain element, like for example, if say this character is weak to the three enemies at the front, I might still keep them in for a couple of rounds because when they take damage, I might switch it in after. I just make sure that I try not to use the skills that are corresponded to that character as much as possible, because it fills up this bar, which basically goes to waste when I switch the character out, right? So I might let them take a hit or two. I don't want them to die, because if they die, then I usually don't finish whatever mission that I'm on. Like, there is a mission that says I don't want any of my characters to be defeated. So I might let them take, one or two hits, and then I might switch them out, to make sure that basically I've saved two hits on another of my characters. So that's basically the battle mechanics. I'm going to explain next the skills. So I'm going to retire and get out of this fight to explain how the skills work. So when you go to a unit, you can go to the bottom, to the rightmost tab there, and you can see the skills. And basically each unit has a secret skill, which is, when you fill up that brown bar, whenever you use that brown skill, you fill up that bar, you can use that secret skill, and every unit has one. The battle skills are, they affect the gameplay quite a bit. So it's really important that you understand what these skills do, and outfit your units to have the best possible skills. The skill that I find the most important is actually a healing skill. So there is this unit that everybody starts with that has a healing skill of healed all allies HP by 15%. This is the only other character that I found that has a healing skill, and I've leveled up that skill as well to increase it from 15 to 17%. I find these healing skills are the most helpful in keeping our units alive. So if you have, definitely if you have this guy, which you will, if you don't have any other more powerful unit, you don't actually have to put this guy into the vanguard. You can put it in the rear guard to keep it as a healer, and when your units take some damage, you can put him in the next turn and heal everybody. But I would definitely recommend that you at least have one unit that is a healer in your party, because that is really one of the most important skills, in my opinion, that you can have. The second skill that I find really important or really powerful is a skill like this one, where it changes one kind of action into a different. So for example, this one right here, the degenerate, changes two blue actions into two brown actions. So remember what I said before about getting as many actions as possible? So basically, if I already have, say, 2 or 3 brown actions and 2 blue actions, by using the skill, I can change it from basically a 300% attack to a 500% attack. I get 5 attacks in, right? I mean, I'm ignoring the total modifier at the end. Of course, that also increases the damage, because if you've noticed, if you chain 5 skills in a row, your final attacks damage increases from 100% to 150. So as many as you can chain, obviously that's going to increase. But more than that, I think just having more actions in a row increases your overall damage. As I just explained, using 3 actions, you attack 3 times, so that's 300% damage. If you change that to 5, you attack 5 times. So basically, using this skill, you've actually increased your total damage output from 300% to 500%. So I find skills like that are really, really important and very strong. So I've a couple of units that have that. This one, and then I think there are a couple more here as well. Maybe her, I think she has a couple skills like that. She has one skill like that. So this one. So I think those skills are very important, and secondary effects are okay, but I really find that just being able to change these souls from one type to another type is one of the most impactful in the game. So I find that the healing skills are the most important, and then I find these skills are secondary important. Thirdly, there are other skills that are situational and that can also help you. One of those is this guy's skill here, which decreases a single target's secret skill gauge by 5%. So I guess first of all, you have to understand what all of these things mean. So secret skill is the bar, whenever you use that brown skill, that thing is called a secret bar. So as a unit attacks and gets more turn, the bar under that unit fills up. That is called a secret skill. So this is going to decrease the secret skill of an opponent by 5%. 5% is not a lot, but it actually saves you whenever an enemy is just about to use their skill. Like for example, sometimes they buff. So they might use like an attack buff, they might use a crit buff, and then next turn their bar is full, so they're going to use their secret skill and unleash their attack, which is going to get boosted by their attack buff and crit buff. So this Hydro Combat is a perfect skill to use at that time, because you can decrease their skill gauge and they will not be able to get off their secret skill, and that they might actually use up their buff. So their buff might be gone, and when they use their secret skill next turn, at least it will not be a buffed attack. Similarly, there are other skills that you can use in similar situations. So this skill here, Sublimate, increases all allies' defense by 20%. I increased it, its level, that's why it went from 20 to 21%. But basically, it's the same thing. Like when they're going to use this, their secret skill, you can use this skill to increase the defense of all your allies. It only lasts for one turn, so make sure you use it right when they're going to use their secret skill to make your allies take less damage that turn. I find skills like this one just overall better. Her skill, which increases defense by 15% for 3 turns, whereas the one that I showed you only increases defense by 20% for 1 turn. I find this one is a lot better, but it all depends on which units have which skills, right? This is a 4-star unit that has this skill, whereas this is a 5-star unit that has this skill. So this unit is overall better, and also you also get the awakening materials from doing the quest anyway. So this unit will probably be one of your most powerful units because you can awaken it faster. And so you'll probably have this skill and this unit. And I mean, if you also have the other unit in the same party, then I would suggest using this one. But you'd probably definitely at least want to use this unit in the party because it's going to be powerful and has higher attack and defense and HP and so on and so on. So that's the battle skill that I explained. The secret skills usually is one of two things. Either it does all target damage, it attacks all the enemies for like 200 something percent, or you can have a secret skill like this one, which would attack a single target, and usually the single target damage is higher than the target everyone. For bosses, the single target is better. For stages where you have multiple enemies, the other type attack is obviously better. So that is kind of the battle mechanics, understanding what you do in the battle itself. But there is a huge portion of the game that is actually just about building up your characters, and it all actually comes down to building your nation. The higher the population of your nation, the stronger your characters can be. For example, like you want to build up your forge to get better equipment, but you can't level up your forge until you meet a certain population. So you really want to level up your population as soon as possible, and generally speaking, you level up your population by building these houses of the different types of characters, like dwarves, and then you have some orc houses somewhere. Okay, so this is lizard houses, this is orc houses. Like as you progress through the games, different types of characters will join you, like orcs, lizards, and dwarves, and so on and so on. And as you unlock their houses, you want to level up their houses to increase the population. And when you when you fill up the population, you can progress your units and unlock different things. One of the things that you really want to unlock for your companions is this thing called an ability release. It's actually not too hard to farm these items, but for example, to go from level 1 to level 2, you need to unlock a certain population. I think 3,000 population to get to here. And then again, to unlock the third population, like for example, I have the materials that I need to unlock it, but I need 3,900 population. So to fill up the population, you really just need to focus on this item here, the story quests. At some point, you will get stuck like I did. I think I got stuck at like chapter 6 because the units were just too powerful for me to deal with. So instead, what I did there was I left it at chapter 6 and I went back to chapter 1 and looked at the normal. And I started doing this one. So I started, fighting this. And at some point, after I finished some battles in normal, I did all of chapter 1, and then I went to chapter 2 and did the normal there, and so on and so on. And as I did that, I was able to increase the level of some of these houses. Like for example, I think you start with the goblin houses, right? From the build nation, wherever it is. So the goblin houses, as you can see. Well, I can't level up here anymore, but as soon as I was able to unlock this, I was able to get us to level 3. And then to get from level 3 to 6, I had to beat some of these levels, some of these chapters on the normal mode, which is what I did. So if you get stuck on any of the the beginner quests at like chapter 6 or 7 or wherever you are, whenever you get stuck, just go again to chapter 1 and do the normal, and do as much of it as you can. Do chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. I think I'm stuck somewhere around chapter 4 maybe. Yeah, I'm stuck at chapter 4 normal because I found that this was too hard to do. So after I found that it was too hard for me to do this, I went back to the story and went to the normal attacks. Sorry, not the normal, but the beginner's quest. So I went to, I was stuck at chapter 6, so I went to chapter 6 and I found, okay, so these were a lot easier to do than the chapter 4 normal, because I think I needed about 11,000, I needed about 110,000 EP, whereas this one only needs 68. So you can switch back between the beginner and the normal quests to finish the story mode. So make sure you do as much of the story as you can, because you need to do you need to do as much of the story as you can to unlock different things in the build nation. And when you unlock different things, the build nation is when you unlock your population. And when you unlock your population is when you can do different things. Like you can build up your forge, you can build up your second ability release on your characters, and all those things increase your characters, your companions, a lot. Like it really affects it. So make sure you build up your population as much as you can. Now for the forge and equipment, if you look at your overall screen, right, you are basically using 10 characters. You're using 3 characters in your vanguard, 2 in your rear guard, and then you have 5 supporting characters to support these units and increase their stats even more. So basically, you need like 10 sets of items, in my opinion. And I don't even have 10 sets. I only have like 5, I think. So I don't think it's a bad idea to level up the items, especially the second item. Going from Forge 2 to 3 takes quite a while. So leveling up your second, like your 2-star items, I think is not a bad idea. I'm just going to show you, for example, when I go to one of these units and go to the equipment. So these are all the items that I've crafted. And as you can see, I have quite a few of these that are leveled up to 20. I don't think that's a bad idea, because when I go from the second star item to the 3rd-star item, I can actually use something within the forge to increase its level. Let me see where I can find it. Enhance. So for example, something I've leveled up like this one, I can go to evolve and move this from a 2-star to a 3-star item. But even if I don't do that, even if I build a brand new one from the forge, like I am, so I can't show you here because here it is. So even if I'm getting something brand new like this, I can still use the old item to give it to one of the units on my supporting list, right? Like, let me go back and show you what I mean. So for example, like Rimuru has this book that I'm using, right? And so when I give him a 3rd-star item, because I've unlocked it and I can craft it now, when I give him that, the book that he's currently wearing will probably go to the slime, which, well, it has this book, which is like a level 1 book, right? But that level 22-star book will probably go to the slime, and he'll probably make a lot of use of it, because all the stats that he has, 35% of it is going to go to Rimuru. So it's not a bad idea, in my opinion, to just level up these 2-star items. I don't know about 1-star, because from 1-star to 2-star, I was able to go pretty quickly. I was able to level the forge up pretty fast. So I don't recommend leveling the 1-star items, but the 2-star items I think are worth it to level up, and whenever you're done with it, you can give it to the second tier of units, like all the units that you're supporting. By the way, the supporting units, let me just show you here. So when I click on the tab, so if this unit is supporting my Rimuru, it's not the same element, so he only gets a 25% supporting bonus. But if the unit is the same element, like both of these are water, it goes from 25 to 35. And I think as these units keep getting stronger and stronger, the support bonus also increases. So it went from 35, this is also 35, to 40%. So you really want to have units that have the same element support bonuses, but sometimes it might actually make sense to switch these up a bit. For example, suppose I'm fighting somebody where wind is very strong, so I really want to use as many wind units as I can, and I have 2 wind units that are already leveled up. So I might use my wind unit here, and something like this, because sure, these two wind units might not be getting as much of a support bonus as it did previously, but now I have two wind units that are going to be so much stronger against whatever enemy I'm fighting. So I really want to optimize my battle that way, right? Like I want to take advantage of the element advantage when I'm fighting against enemies, and it usually tells you what the element advantage is anyway. Like whenever you go to any battle, it tells you right here the best over here. So whenever as many water units as I have, it's probably the advantageous element to the enemies that I'm fighting. So I want to, if I'm having a lot of trouble with this battle, I'm not probably not going to, because I have higher EP than the enemy anyway. But if I was, like if say I was like 100,000 and I kind of struggling with it, then I might want to take advantage of putting as many water units as I can in my formation as I'm fighting the enemies. Now there is another companion that I want to talk about, and that is the protection character. So there are two things that affect the protection character skills. The first thing is over here, where it increases the attack of all units from a certain element. Like in this case, it's going to increase the attack for all space type units and all wind types units by 8% and 5%. But it also has a protection skill. And you know that blue bar that I talked about when you're using blue skills? Whenever that skill fills up, you use the protection skill. Again, I find there is one type of protection skill that's better than the others, and that's usually something that changes one type of soul into a different type of soul. So in this case, this one changes the Soul of Secrets, which is the brown soul, into the blue soul. So again, as many of these skills that I can get off in a turn, like as many attacks as I can use in a turn, the better it is, like the more damage that I'm doing. So I find that is the best type of skill, and there are 3 units that I have which have that kind of skill. So this is the first one that changes the skill from brown skills to blue skills. This one does the same thing. It changes it from green skills to brown skills. And there is a third unit that I have that does similar things, which is this one, which changes the brown skills into green skills. So I find those kind of units are the best. I find those kind of skills outright are the best anyway, because it helps you to get as much damage as you can, and it dramatically improves your battle performance. That's what I found. I think that's all really for the mechanics. And then there's also interactions. Like make sure you go to the home screen as many times as you can, and click on this button over here to see who you can talk to. The more times that you talk to a unit, the higher their affinity towards you increases. And as the affinity increases, you actually get small bonuses as well as increasing your like magicite or whatever this thing is called here. What is it called? Magic crystal. So as you talk to them, you get more magic crystal, and when you get more magic crystals, you can basically keep pulling for newer units and build up your party that way. I think that's it. I think those are all the mechanics that I can think about. And until I understood all of these things, I found it a little bit difficult to actually win the battles, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what these skills were doing. So it really helped understanding these things. And once I understood it, I thought, okay, maybe other people might be having a bit of difficulty as well. So I thought I would help other people out. Oh, there's one thing actually I want to mention. There is this thing here called training. And sometimes you might struggle a bit. Like for example, I struggled with this quest for a while, so I don't actually have to do it. I can actually repeat this one, and at some point you unlock this thing called parallel processing, which basically lets you, it's like an auto mode. So I can do this, and I can let it run. It'll run for 13 minutes, and you actually get some of this thing magicule back, right? Like the first time you beat it, you get a ton. Like for example here, the first time I beat it, I'm going to get 75,000 of these magicules, and this one I think I got maybe 60,000. I don't remember right now. But after I beat the first level, I had trouble beating the second level. So what I did, I actually just like my stamina was full, so I just went to this. I went to parallel processing, and I could do, I think, like 20 of these battles, or maybe 15, I don't know, something like that. So I filled it up to 15, and it took like 2 hours to do. And I hit confirm, and I just like let the game play for 2 hours. Came back, and I got something like 120,000 of these magicules. So it's not only the first time that you can do it. You can actually do it repeated times. You don't get that first time bonus, but you still get some of it as you keep doing up these level up quests. So I find it's really, really good to do, this level up quest and then this gold coin quest. Now I have a lot more than I need to look at my main team, so I might actually look at different elements. Like, for example, I might meet enemies which are weak to space type, and I don't have any of my space type unit that are leveled up. So I might actually think of leveling up this one and this one to have an advantage when I'm fighting these enemies that are weak to space. Um, so yeah, so don't neglect that. And if you get stuck and you can't go any more in story or anything, and you still have units to level up, think of doing this one. Do the level up quest. Just repeat it. You don't only have to do it once. It's actually repeatable, and they actually give you small amounts of these magicules as you do them, so you can level up more and more characters. Um, yeah, that's it really. Make sure you do these ones as well to get these coins, which helps you to do the ability release, which actually affects your stats a lot. I think it actually affects it more than your levels itself. So make sure you do as much of this as you can. Um, and then you have to, I think you have to go up to 3,000 population to unlock the uh, second tier, and then 3,900 to unlock the third tier. So make sure you try to hit those population caps as soon as possible, because that will drastically increase the power of your units. Anyway, I think that's it for now. Those are all the tips and you know tips and strategies and mechanic explained kind of things that I can think of for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have other questions or specifically what to do about something, let me know and I'll try my best to help you. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have other questions or comments, let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care now.